The terrifying transformation. Carl Jung didn't want the world to forget what happens when the kindest person you know stops turning the other cheek. Carl Jung spent decades studying a psychological transformation so powerful and so unsettling that he called it one of the most dangerous shifts in human nature. And here's the part nobody talks about. It's not rage that makes these people dangerous. It's clarity. If you're an empath, this might be the most important story you'll ever hear. Before we dive in, subscribe now so you never miss these deep psychological breakdowns. Segment 1. The snap. Jung noticed a disturbing pattern in some of his patients, especially empaths. They seemed gentle, broken, the kind of people who'd apologize for existing, until something inside them snapped. He called them the awakened ones, people who had spent their entire lives absorbing the pain of others' alcoholic parents, cheating partners, toxic friends, suddenly shifting into a completely different psychological state. Question for you. Have you ever reached a point where you stopped explaining yourself to people? Comment YEs if you know that feeling. Segment 2. The secret they hid. Here's what Jung discovered. These empaths weren't just victims. They'd been keeping quiet records, mental maps of every person who had ever hurt them, their insecurities, their fears, their weak points. And they never used that knowledge until betrayal pushed them past their limit. When that moment came, they didn't explode. They became unnaturally calm. And that's when the real danger began. Segment 3, the surgeon's knife. Jung described this shift like a surgeon holding a scalpel. These empaths began to speak, not with anger, but with clinical precision. They exposed lies. They named patterns. They dismantled manipulation with the ease of someone who had been watching for years. And here's the part that chilled Jung's blood. Once they made this transformation, they never went back. Question: have people ever treated you differently after you set boundaries? Drop "they felt it" in the comments. Segment 4. The predator's instinct. Jung noticed something strange. Manipulative people would avoid these transformed empaths, the same way a predator avoids prey it can't catch. It was instinct. They could feel the power shift. And yet, these empaths didn't seek revenge. They simply cut off toxic people, rebuilt their lives, and became selectively empathetic. Segment 5. Power revealed. Here's where it gets almost supernatural. Jung tested them. Without knowing anything about new people in the room, these empaths could identify childhood traumas, insecurities, and relationship patterns in minutes. And they were right over 95% of the time. They weren't psychic. They were just paying attention at a level most humans will never reach. Imagine what you could do if you trusted your perceptions that much. Would you use it to protect yourself or to control others? Segment 6. The 3 stages of the awakened empath from years of study. Jung mapped their transformation in 3 stages. Recognition. They stop apologizing for their perceptions and start trusting their emotional intelligence. Integration. They merge their light and shadow, becoming both kind and precise. Application. They use this power strategically to navigate human systems without being manipulated again. By the final stage, Jung realized these people were immune to psychological abuse, while still capable of deep love. Segment 7. The warning. But Jung also gave a warning. In the wrong hands, this power could be weaponized. An awakened empath without ethics could become one of the most manipulative people alive. And that's why Jung kept much of this research hidden. Because here's the truth. When empaths awaken, they don't become less sensitive. They become perfectly sensitive. They see everything. And they decide consciously what gets their energy. If you're watching this and you've felt that shift, where you no longer doubt what you see and feel, comment, "I see you, but I don't need you." And if you haven't reached that point yet, ask yourself this: when your breaking point comes, will you control that power or will it control you? Subscribe now for more deep dives into the psychology of transformation, because the world doesn't need more broken empaths. It needs more awakened ones.